Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back! Even though this is actually the same as the last video on the channel because I've been I haven't been slacking off. Here's the announcements. Turns out I needed to update the Excel sheet, and while doing it I was looking at Genius plus Divine Glaive stuff, so I've been working on the next video. What's better, Genius or Divine Glaive? TLDR, for most cases, like 99% of the time, it's the glaive. So, but I'll go ahead and explain it more in depth on that video. For now, let's get to the questions. So, if you don't know how to send the questions, literally just follow the command right here. That's how you. So okay. Let's not read that one, Maniac. All right. So let's continue to the actual questions. All right. So Squee asks how to counter a 4-man invade. So to counter a 4-man invade, you're gonna need to take something called anti-invasion heroes, which means heroes that can punish heroes that invade. So normally an invasion team will take Grok, for example, of course, like standard, and an anti-invasion team will usually take Valir, and that's because Valir kind of destroys Grok because he does % damage based on HP, and it kind of resets infinitely at an early level. So that can deter a Grok. And if you keep on adding stuff like that, Roger's another example of an anti-invasion kind of hero. At least not popular like that, but you get enough heroes low and he can get a savage early game. Just depends on how you play him. All he needs is literally only level 2 for his Wolf Scream mode, and that's it. It's a game, and he doesn't even have to risk it because he has that range switch. So yeah. Anyways, just make sure you have counter invasion heroes. If you want a list of those, just ping me in the Discord. I'll give you a list. And so let's continue. Sayano asks, for Cho Lizard 2.0, are there any movements where Flicker is superior, or is it strictly execute/petrify? Yeah, it's gonna be strictly execute/petrify. The point is to get away from Flicker with that stuff. If you're wondering what this is, just pretty much ignore it. Don't worry about it. If you really are curious, then you can ask in the server. I'll leave the link in the description as usual, but don't worry about this whole lizard stuff. More questions from Sayano. Why is Layla gay and should be banned? She should not be banned, and everyone deserves to see the bunny hops. Next question is from, why do you guys put the Japanese names? I can't read this, but I think this is Vince. Anyways, Vince asks, I think, can a support sweat hard enough to carry the team? If they are a carry type support, they can. Examples of this are Faramis. Anyways, Sammy is the next one to ask, how can I clear off my Roach Grok name? You can't. You are Roach Grok. That is what you are. Ever since you bought that skin and you played one game with him, you are Roach Grok. There's no way back. You are a Roach Grok. Alright, SkyD2 asks next, is semi-tank Ranger viable for not getting bursted? Immortality is always good late game for many heroes, just to be able to revive, and when it's on cooldown, you usually get Rose Gold or Wotak. If you don't want to get bursted, in general, next update we do get that Vengeance. It got boosted. Vengeance will now have a 75-second cooldown and a 45% damage reduction on the advanced server. That should hit next patch for everybody. So that's pretty busted. It's like Wotak as a battle spell. Next, or Queen's Wings as it's called now. Next one's from Elix. Heroes who can solo Lord. Anyone who doesn't die to it. I mean, they can take forever, but as long as you don't die to the Lord, like Uranus can clear Lord and he won't die to it. It just takes like 3 years. But, I mean, if you're talking about fast, you're going to be looking at heroes like Roger, heroes like Masha, like Dyroth. Those can really solo Lord really fast.
Did you say Masha?
Yeah, Masha.
It's Masha.
Masha, whatever. Anyways, how to play Baxia properly. I feel like I'm wasting my skill 1 from Traffy. So the main thing with Baxia's skill 1 is you want to make sure you go parallel to the direction the enemy is traveling, and then you do a perpendicular aim of your skill 1, and that way you will always jump and land on them, and that way you get a longer stun duration on that enemy. In general, that's how you should try to do it. Basically try to do a 180 and stun enemies behind you once they get far enough or to the side of you. Never run straight into them, or try not to at least, because then your stun is less than like half of it. Alright, next up is from Elix. Which hero builds get updated? So on my server I have a place called Snake Place. It's where I post my builds, and if you're interested in those should be getting updated. So I'm not sure what this is referring to. If there's something specific you want, Elix, let me know, a specific hero, and I'll post it. Archangel asks, how can people be so retarded? I'm assuming this is related to ally choices and hero choices. I honestly don't even know how to, actually don't even know. I mean, I don't know. I can't answer that question. I don't know. I can't think like that. I guess they're just not focusing. Next up is what's up with these names, guys? This isn't Vince though. So, Mystery Shopper, Magic Worship Talent. Which one is better for Guzhen? Okay, so for damage, you will get better damage output with Magic Worship. However, that can be argued because then you can get items faster and do more damage faster with Mystery Shop. Give or take. In general, for Assassins, Mystery Shop is more broken because unlike Bounty Hunter, you don't need to stack it, it just exists. And that's an unfair advantage that most mages or anything with magical damage in the game have, or physical heroes. It is the state of the game. The game is just biased towards magical heroes. Alright, Dogsim to me asks, thoughts on Festival of Blood Freya as a replacement for Bloodlust, because I don't really like the tank emblem personally, no physical attack or pen. Okay, so Freya doesn't need this, okay? You can be hitting the tank, and anybody behind the tank will take damage. That doesn't matter if it's a squishy, because usually they don't have enough physical defense to mitigate your damage. In general, I would still recommend a tank emblem on her, but if you want to replace Bloodlust with the Festival of Blood emblem, then just make sure you get a defense item instead of Bloodlust Axe. That way it's balanced and you don't lose much on either side. Just saying. Alright, on behalf of okay, so asks, strongest heroes and strat for the next patch. I'm thinking double invade 212 will be a big brain strategy next time around. So yeah, in general, the strategies will revolve on, I think, red invasions to counter this hyper carry strategies going on right now. I don't foresee the 212. Well, double invasions would be good if you can handle a double invasion team. Although that will get tricky, you'll have to use heroes that are pretty good at invading by themselves. So maybe a fighter and a support and a tank and a mage for invasions on a 2-1-2 invasion. Technically it'll be 2-3 early and then they'll split to 2 bot. I don't know, it could be countered by another 2-1-2 invasion. It gets tricky. I would say it's better to do a 3-1-1 and then rotate your tank spot to kind of help out, but that's just my opinion. It doesn't mean it's necessarily true. It also depends on the enemy. If they have someone who needs blue to function, like Ling or Fanny, then of course you're going to invade their blue. If their carry is going to be a marksman, then obviously invade their red. It just depends on what it is. If it's both, choose what's more lethal to you and counter that. But anyways, strongest heroes next patch. I'm going to assume you're referring reworked heroes as well. I would say for sure Yuzong will bring a new wave. He has been nerfed, so he's not as like banned tier anymore, but he's the replacement for Thamus. As far as anybody new that's strong next patch, of course, I've already mentioned this before, Yisunshin and Mia keep getting buffed or stay really strong, so those two will definitely make a big impact. Luo Yi will definitely enter the ban list pretty soon. I don't think there's much other adjustments here to the hero roster here. Maybe they'll notice about Baxia or not, but Baxia is for sure always going to be really strong, especially with that NOD update. And maybe people will catch on to a tanky Esmeralda. I don't know if they will, but at least in NA, but maybe they will. Next up is best control setting, lowest HP or lowest HP percentage for assassins and mages. So the answer to this question is that it depends. It really depends. What kind of assassin or what kind of mage you are. If you are ranged, generally you get close to do your damage, so closest would be better here. The idea is never to auto aim, so none of these settings really matter, but in general people prefer lowest HP because then they target auto aim the marksman or the squishiest hero. This can counter backfire on you because if there's minions in the area, you'll hit the minions instead of the heroes. But lowest HP percentage, if the tank is lower HP percent than the marksman, then you'll be hitting the tanks. That's okay for heroes like carry or something, but like for assassins and mages, in general, they're just really skill based, so you just have to aim instead of relying on either setting, in my opinion. Anyways, Trim True, next question. Alright, debated between all tank mains. Who is superior, Khufra or Grok? My answer would be Roger, but I would like to know your thoughts. So, okay, so the debate is not who's better, but what's better for your team. Grok will always be a better tank in terms of defensive stats and pressuring the enemy. However, Khufra will always be the better CC tank and counter pick. So depends on what you're thinking about essentially building your team up to be. Khufra is more banned than Grok for the same reason, because he just counters a lot of the meta heroes, and counters will always be stronger in terms of a pick against enemies than just a good pick overall. So that's why Grok stays in the meta, because he's always a really good pick because he has the highest defense stats. And Khufra is always banned because he just counters a lot of the hyper carry assassins and mages like Harith. So next up is from Nay. I would like to know how I could adjust my skill wheel sensitivity. How can I make it so it's optimal for me? Go into a custom match. If you can edit your skill wheel sensitivity, I don't know if you can, but if you can, just mess with it until you're comfortable with it. Just go into custom and click on that gear and it'll help you out. Alright, Af asks about 1-2-2 and 1-3-1 strategy. Even a 1-4-0 is popular where 4 rotate together and leave 2 lanes for a solo laner. Yeah, is it possible for a full 5-man rotation, 0-5-0 with Yul Yi as a primary mage, where there's one laner with a rival? Okay, so that's basically 1-4-0. You can do full 0-5-0 invasion and have someone like Ling who can rotate between 2 lanes without a rival and then still be fast enough to gank mid. It's up to you, but I don't think that a rival is reliable enough to flip in between lanes, especially if you're getting out split pushed. That's just my opinion though, but yeah. Let's see here. But yeah, ideals definitely Ling, Natalia, even Hanzo. Heroes that move really, really fast in between maps, and even Yuzong with his ultimate can do that. So next up is from Doxim to me. Can you explain the whole Oracle / NOD calculations with both shields and heals, please? Yes, easily. Okay, so here's the TLDR and how to do this. No matter if any kind of heal is boosted by Oracle, no matter what it is, even if it boosts to 3000, it gets cut straight in half at the end. The end calculation, whatever your end heal was, it's going to get cut right in half by NOD. That's the simple way of thinking of it. For shields, if you got 100% shield before, no matter what the number was, 3000, 7000 shield, doesn't matter, 100% shield. When you equip Oracle, now you get 130% shield, okay? And then when somebody hits you with NOD, it turns it back down to 80% shield. It's subtractive, not multiplicative, so it's a little bit less of a nerf. 80% shield is not the same as, for example, 1300 shield divided by 2. So, if you want to know the gist of it, NOD counters heals more than it counters shields, and that's the TLDR. But yeah. Anyways, from Kal-El, let's see here. How do I kill my randoms and get away with it? Solo queue is a fun gamble, but I get caveman at times. Don't know what you mean by killing your randoms and get away with it, but use them as a shield. And the best way to do this is with heroes that normally sacrifice themselves. So Faramis is really good at this. Just let your people suicide normally and just revive them when you know they're gonna die because they overstepped, and then watch them get a comeback. It's hilarious. Xylux has the next question here. How to stop focus / concentration / what? Let me read this slowly. Okay, so the answer to this question, Zio, is to whatever you do to focus, just do it. And if you lose focus while trying to focus, then you need to find a new way to focus. That's the best info I can give. So whatever helps you focus, stick to it. Once it stops working, find a new way to focus. That's the only way you can do it. Alright, Elix, what do you do when your early game is bad? Okay, so the best thing to do here is to grab the mask. It'll help you catch back up. If your whole team is really far behind, you need to offset the masks and have one person try to farm the most. So the way you do it is at second, let's say second or minute, 2 minutes into the game, and you'll realize you're really far behind. Okay, so what you gotta do is have the carry buy the mask at 2 minutes, then the next person at 2 minutes and 1 second, 2 minutes 2 seconds, 2 minutes 3 seconds, 2 minutes 4 seconds, and that'll offset your masks and make them actually viable for a comeback gold strategy. The next question from Sky82 again, is the Marksman emblem with the Electro Flash talent good with autos? Yes, it's really good. Some people prefer Killing Spree, they're both really good. I prefer Electro Flash only because the Marksman emblem can increase the critical damage. Af is next here. As a tank / support, should I finish Roam after I finish Boots, or should I finish it after I buy another item so I'm not squishy / weak? So as a tank or a support, I would recommend you get your tier 1 mask, and then you get your boots, and then your core item, your first core item, so that way you're not, dangerously weak. And then of course get your finish your courage mask, because it does provide attack and defense. So it's not a bad item, it's just get it when you can, when you think you're good enough that you won't sacrifice anything for it. It's not a bad item. It's going to help you, but you do need some base stats for it to feed off of. Anyways, next up is from Artie. Is there a comp viable without a tank? If so, if there is, what should the heroes be? So you need heroes that are really good at outlasting in the same situations the tanks would last in. So heroes like Argus and Freya are the only ones that come up to mind from the fighter list. X-Borg can to a certain extent, of course, but that's about it in terms of all I can think of that have the CC like a tank, that have the durability like a tank. Jawhead can work, but if he gets bursted down, it's not going to be the same. So, next up is, oh, did not mean to react to it. What's funny is Jawhead has commented on that, actually. Alright, so Vince asks how to stop being a tyrant in draft and making randoms and teammates mess up due to pressure. You counter pick. So you become what is known as a counter pick player. You look at the enemy team, and you look at your team, and then you determine, if I take this hero, it would counter the enemy team the most, but at the same time, it's not a troll pick that my team would lose their minds over. So that's how you do it, and in terms of how you gauge how good you are as a support, that would be based not on how many assists you get, but on how much the enemy team focuses you. If the enemy team focuses you over the carry, then that means that you are a good support, because they have determined that you are more of a threat than the enemy carry, than your carry is, and that's when you know you're a good support. Next up is from Nay. That's the same question as Shadow, but in terms of switching to League of Legends, so I'll try it out. I don't think MLBP will die. I think it'll be a coexist, just like LOL and Dota exist. In terms of what's going to happen, NA will get a huge player-based surge. That's my prediction. And I may be completely wrong, but I think that if the people from League of Legends are unhappy with how Rift turns out, they'll most likely want to try something else for mobile, just so that they don't waste their time, and they'll probably migrate over to ML. That's what I think. And the same thing, if people with ML don't like the way ML is being handled, they're going to try out Rift, and if they like Rift more than ML, they're going to move. A little bit of a flip-flop, but you do have a more surge in the player base, because LOL is, of course, way more popular. But yeah. Elix asks for a hard push Ling build. That's already in Snake Place. Check it out. Let's see here. Zyolux on behalf of Kratos. So Kratos says, is Dominance Ice worth building on Popol and Koopa, or if I should stick with a Thunderbelt? Yes, it is worth building, especially when you're being targeted. Thunderbelt is fine if you want to put distance between you and the enemy, but Dominance Ice is more for areas where you cannot keep distance between you and the enemy. Alright, Sky82, what team comps does carry counter? Anything with a tank. Asks, if you don't mind, Zero, can you please tell me the strong/weak points, or just a short summary on the revamped heroes? Let's do this. So, TLDR, who got revamped from the tanks? Let's see, Gatot Kaja. He's a fighter/a tank now. He's going to do a lot more damage in the early game, and and that's about it. They gave him more damage. Next up is I think Hilda got a boost to a little bit of a heal boost. Not really. It'll like most of the things, most of the updates to these heroes have been a boost for the early game where they usually die at. But late game they're still going to be late game they're still going to be countered by NOD. Fighter wise, Alucard and Zilong, again early game sustain, really good. Basically easier to snowball with them, but once the enemy gets those counter items, you're going to be kind of screwed. We might want to ban Baxia. Who else got reworked over here? Assassins. I don't think anybody else got reworked. Yisunshin did, but we'll get to him in the marksman section. Mages wise, I don't think there was another rework. I think Vale is next though. Marksman wise, yeah. Okay, so marksman wise, Yisunshin and Mia both SS tier. Yisunshin has free damage immunity and 30% damage res on S1. Mia has basically free instant immobilize now, and she has that other clone, and basically she's going to be a better version of Claude, while Yisunshin will be a better version of Granger. Alright, next up is supports. I don't think anyone got reworked over here, so we're good there, yeah. If I missed one, I'm sorry, just let me know next questions. Let's see, explain to me how oh crap, yeah, Ruby, there we go. Ruby is now affected by NOD, you know that, but in case you didn't, she is, check my previous video. Anyways, Nay asks when should go into Gushin, okay. Yeah, so, in general with any assassin, but since your question is specific to Gushin, I'll answer specifically Gushin wise. Gushin, you're going to want to go into a team fight, or when you know you have targeted a squishy, or when you know that your target is going to die when you go in, and that you have enough regen or sustain to be able to escape. And so in general, make sure all CC is down, that's like a rule of thumb. If not possible, then go in knowing you're going to get at least one kill and be able to escape. And once you do that, you just reposition to do it again and again and again. And that's just Gushin's basically picking or reaping of enemies. But yeah, in general, just avoid CC when possible, and if you're going to go in, make sure you get a kill. That's the rule of thumb for Gushin and I think most assassins. Alright, next question is from Serial. Theoretically, when will Freya be recognized by the majority of players? Theoretically, that would be in M2, because I don't think, or maybe one of those pro leagues in Southeast Asia. But otherwise, in the next World Cup, she will be recognized easily. There's going to be, I know there's going to be at least one team that will pop Freya off. They probably won't have the right build and therefore not be using her at 100%, but at least it'll be recognizable. Because even in her weird endless battle raptor machete form that people like to spam, she's still pretty potent. So, just my opinion, that's when it's going to happen, unless somebody really famous picks her up and uses her properly, build and all. Next question is from Senpai. How do I play Carmilla? Any tips and tricks? Yeah, so if you play Uranus, that's how you play Carmilla. Pretty much the same. You just have to aim your ultimate when a lot of your allies are close by so that you can maximize the spread. Otherwise, just balance your regen and your damage and your zoning. But yeah, and of course save your stun for anybody that gets too close or anyone you're trying to stop and reach. Alright, next one's from Trim. Do you know that Thamus is getting nerfed? Man, I did not know that. Really? I did not expect that. Okay. Dog Sim to me is the next one here. If I were to go for a global style Freya build, full damage to test out how bad it is, what build would I ideally go? Okay, so you want a balanced... so here's the thing. The devs have reworked her to make her damage build the ideal build. So, in my opinion, it's going to be Berserker's Fury first, Bloodlust Axe second, then Beast Killer third, Oracle fourth, and you can flip-flop those depending on how easy it is for you to jungle. Then of course you're gonna end that with BOD, so the general build should be Berserkers, Bloodlust, Oracle, Beast Killer, and BOD. That's how it should be. And let me just double check in my brain and see. Berserker's number 1, Bloodlust number 2, number 3 is Oracle, or actually I lied to you. Number 1 is Berserker's Fury. I'm sorry. I'm taking this way, way, way bad. Sorry, I sent you for a bad loop there. Here's how it should be. Pillager Axe first. Berserker's Fury second. Number 3 is Bloodlust Axe. Number 4 is Rose Gold Meteor. Number 4, you complete Beast Killer, so it's technically your 4th item slot. Then you get Oracle as number 5. And then your last item should be, of course, the Blade of Despair. And that's how you should play Freya. If the enemy's too tanky, switch over to Malefic Roar instead of BOD. But yeah, there you go. That's the build. Sorry for the loops. Sky D2, what's next? How to counter the Hyper Carry strat. Invade their red. Alright, is it ideal to change the concentrated energy in Gushin build to Glowing Wand? No, it isn't. Senpai asks, how does damage reduction stack with one another? And let me actually address this, hold on. A lot of people are under the belief that if you have like 5 daggers with Gushin, you immediately inflict 5 times 2.5% of the enemy's max HP. That's not how it works, okay? That's not how the Glowing Wand passive works. It just deals damage per second. It's not going to deal more because you have more projectiles. I mean, it is, but only up to a certain point. It goes up to 2.5%, but that's not per dagger or per projectile. That's going to be per second. Limited per second, not per projectile. Get that right in your brain, because a lot of Kimi players think, oh, every single little bomb I'm hitting is 2.5%, 2.5%, No, that's not how it works. It's 2.5% per second. That's how it works. Alright, so Senpai asks, how does damage reduction stack with one another? Alright, so the answer to this is in the calculator. And we can pull this up and drag it over to this screen. I have 2 screens, give me 1 second. Here it is. So let's say you take 1,000 damage from a skill normally, and you have the Queen's Wings proc on you. Boom, you take 500 damage. Easy math, right? So what about Martis? Isn't Martis a 0.6 or 60% reduction? Yeah. So you multiply that 500 by 0.6. You get 300. But the question in everybody's mind is what goes first on Martis? His damage reduction or the damage reduction from the items? The truth is from his passive. So you take 1,000 and you multiply by 0.6. There it is. And then you multiply by 0.5. Did it make a difference? No, but it's just there so you understand it. That's the commutative property, I think, in multiplication or whatever. But anyways, or AB equals BA or whatever. Anyways, however, let's just add vengeance, the new vengeance on top of that. Let's just add it. 0.45. Oh, 5. If you have Martis's S2, Queen's Wings active, and Vengeance active, you're going to take 135 damage instead of your normal 1,000 damage you were supposed to take. If you subtract 1,000 from that, that's an 86.5% is what that means, reduction. Instead of, it's not going to be like additive. You're not going to be getting 45 plus 50 plus 60. You're not going to get 155% damage rest. That's not how it works. It's 86.5% in those terms. So that answers the second part of your question. I read ahead. So Sayano, yeah, I'll let you answer that question. Hold on, let me react to that. Alright, before Ruby can be played as an off tank, but now can she be played as the main tank? No. You don't want to know why? Because NOD affects her. Next up. I think this is Bongo. I'm not too sure. Which heroes make the best use of New Vengeance? Literally every assassin. Because now they can go in and take half, it's 5% less, 45% less damage from a skill. Aurora doing 2.3k on you when you go in and to dive her? No, how about instead of 2.3k, it's now 1.150, whatever. You know what I mean. 1,150. That's not going to kill you, is it? No, it's not. So what that means is if your hero usually had 8,000 health before, and you go in, and I'm talking about some really like Clock of Destiny mages, or let's just say 6,000 damage. If you had 6,000 health before, and somebody hits you with like 10,000 worth of burst or 12,000 worth of burst, then you're gonna proc Vengeance, and then now you're gonna take half of that. 12,000 will still kill you because that's just double your health, but you know, it's gonna be tougher for assassins to die, especially dive assassins with dashes to die with the new Vengeance. Same thing with tanks. It's just like a free. Just think of Queen's Wings as a battle spell. Why not take it? It's the new Iron Wall. All right, Trim True. Do you like my Skechers? No comment, man. Should I filter out troll questions? Nah, oh yeah, now I know it's Bongo. Nah, it's fine, dude. And I think it adds a little bit of comedic effect, besides me tripping over my lines or my replies, since it is unscripted. Alright, next question is from, which heroes make the best use of New Vengeance? Okay, I already answered that. If you want to know specifics, here, I'll tell you some specifics. Yusunshin, for sure. Mia, Claude, Granger, Carrie, Hanabi, Layla, Leslie, Roger, Wangwen, Bruno, Clint, Irithel, Kimmy, Moskov, Popol, I don't know if I said Leslie yet, but Leslie, let's see here, who else would do this? Kagura, Harley, Lunox, Valier, Vale, Karina, Fanny, Gujin, Hayabusa, Benedetta, Lancelot, Ling. I mean, do you get the idea by now? Pretty much a lot of heroes will. Opti, I'm sorry that I didn't post this video yesterday. Number one, I did do it yesterday, but then like I got stopped halfway through because I didn't realize the recorder stopped recording for no reason, and then I got distracted by making those Excel sheets. But yeah. So yeah, no, why is you gay? No, why are you gay? Yeah, exactly. You tell him, Sammy. Alright, why does the shift key suck? It doesn't. Your pinky just sucks. Alright. Oh, Rito popping in. Is Esme viable in the meta? Tank Esme. The answer to your question is maybe. Maybe. Just maybe. 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 The reason he asks that is because over here in the announcements, turns out there's a multiplier. You know what, I'll just open the Excel sheet for you guys and drag it over here. This is not the updated one, so ignore some stuff. I'm missing some multipliers. I'll show you guys in a couple of seconds. Yeah, there you go. You see it right there? There it is. In terms of magic damage, tanks take, this is their multiplier. Basically, if there's a higher multiplier, you take less damage. Esmeralda's labeled as a mage / tank, so her multiplier is naturally 1.111. So, in terms of magic damage, again, in terms of physical damage, pretty much everyone's the same. So let's just say that Esmeralda has, I don't know, 180 magic res, and you hit her with a skill like Aurora's that does like, I don't know, 3,000 damage normally to somebody because it's charge or whatever, and you have the multiplier from Esmeralda being a mage, she would only take 1,000 damage from that. So just saying, that's pretty broken. But in terms of physical stuff, her multiplier is still gonna be normal. I think I pinned that in the public, or no, not, I didn't do it. I think Shadow pinned that over here. Let me double check. Yeah, here it is. Here's a new list. I had it on my phone. I'll put it up on the server and update the previous video with it too if you want it. But magical damage, those are the multipliers you just saw, and then physical damage, I went through and ran all of this. True damage is still true damage. It ignores both of them, no matter what your damage res is either. So I went ahead and tested this thanks to Peach. Peach, you suck. I hate you for this, but anyways, and that's all the questions, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and it's time to clear this chat. Please clear. Thank you. 0 out.